In this video today, I am trying to understand the impact of adding the solidification to the island mesh with automated testing. In this video series, I am experimenting learning Unreal Engine 5.6 by reproducing the Cropout sample project from Epic Games. I am Philip from Tokyo. Welcome to my Unreal Engine series. As usual, I am going to improve my workflow first. What I would like to do is to resolve the issue that the fresh clone from GitHub does not have my post-commit hook. As a consequence is the loss of my work if I had forgotten to pull the changes to GitHub, which I use as a backup. For that, I had a long discussion with AI Rusha, and my preferred solution is to have a script that will perform the clone and set up the hooks. So this is me committing and tagging after the previous episode. Let's close everything. I will rename my previous working directory just in case. Open a new terminal. So usually I do a clone with this git command. I want to have this command into a bat script. How come I cannot create a simple text file anymore? Anyway, clone my island generator.bat. Edit, echo off, paste, add echo off. Save. If I execute this script, I should get a new clone of my island generator. In this new clone, I will add a new directory, .githooks, in which I will add my script, which I have into a development environment. In my bat script, I will do this xcopy command with these options. I may need to cd into the directory. Then I will copy my island generator /.githooks into my island generator /.git /hooks. Let's keep the clone for now. If I run this script, I should have the hooks in the git directory. I don't. Let's execute the script from a command prompt. File not found. Yeah, copy the files. Nope. Oh, my mistake. Yeah, I changed my mind in the meantime. I wanted to keep it simple first. Yes, copied. And yes, I can see the post-commit hook file. Okay, adding the .githooks directory to git. Commit. Reminder, I am allowing to push automatically because I'm working alone, and I use GitHub as a backup, and I trust myself. Yeah, post-commit message unpushed. So, final test. Clean. Enable the clone in the script. Execute. My post-commit hook is here. So let's say that this is done for the 7th episode. Let's see later if I still have the issue. Usually I commit and tag off camera. For this video, I would like to do more refactoring of the test because there are certain assumptions I made in the previous episode that I would like to verify. So I open my island generator plugin project. I open the ball is not falling through the floor test. Remember in the previous episode, I wanted to see if I could get the trace from the edge of the ball instead of the center of the ball. I guess it will simplify the test. I have a sphere. I want to get its dimensions through getLocalBounds. I remember that the min and max are the same for a sphere. I think. Let's see. So, if I get the world location, that is the center of a sphere, and that I remove the min bounds, it should be the edge of a sphere, the start of a trace. Then I take the same value and subtract 1 unit on z to make the end of a trace. So the trace is 1 unit long. I am refactoring a working test, so it must work if I do not make any mistake. I have to reset the test as this is a new Unreal session. I want to run this test, Basic Island. Timeout. Let's print my start and end vectors. Compile. Run. Checking the log. So the start is 50, 50, and 600 on Z. The ball has been placed at 0, 0, and 600. And the end is at 50, 50, and 599 on Z. So if the ball is at 600, I will expect the start to be at 550 on Z. So let's print out the min finally. Compile, run. Checking the log. Min, minus 50. Oh yeah, makes sense. Minus 50 compared to the center of a sphere. So the max should be positive. Yes, it is. So what if I subtract the max? Yep, success. So remove the traces. Yep, still working. So let's remove the all computations. getting the bounds, subtracting the radius, -1. Is it still working? Ah, nope. What did I do? Let's undo the changes. I deleted the world location for this break node vector, thinking that. Let's try it. Yep, that's clean. That is the power of small changes and running often and having tests that can be executed very quickly. No, not executed from here. Then I will say that the test is not working. This test execution. Okay. What if I move the island away now? Ball is falling. Good. Let's move the island back. So, this object under test, let's rename it to my current naming scheme as object UT. What I would like to try also, now that the test is working, is to use a light trace by component that I wanted to try in the first place in the previous episode. It's not working. I won't spend more time on this. Removing this line trace by component. And test again. See how it is easy to do some tests like this once you have a successful test. I have been able to do the refactoring I wanted to do, and I prefer this line trace method as it seems to be widely used in games. So now let's go further on reproducing the Cropout sample project. Let's start by running the tests, all the tests. They are working. Now, what I would like to do is to continue on the plugin itself. Here is my basic island level, which shows current status of the island generated with the same parameters as in CSP. Let's edit the plugin. The issue here is that if I connect this Solidify node and compile, the compilation time is increasing. And if I run the island is not too heavy, then it fails, because I get a different number of triangles, probably due to the randomness when regenerating a new island. I need to learn more about the impact of solidifying the mesh. First, one thing I could do is get more information after the island is generated. If I look at CSP, I have a sequence of 3 steps. Let me add the sequence to my project. The first step, step 0, is the loop. I haven't implemented steps 1 and 2 yet, and I am starting to think that maybe I should start from the end and add the nodes backwards. I will not do 1 and 2 for now, but I add a third step to print some information about what has been generated in the previous steps. To begin with, I would like to get the triangle count, which I will print. Let's add a keyword for the log filter, and let's disconnect Solidify for now. Filter the log, I have 396 triangles. I always have 396 triangles before adding the solidification. When I add the solidify node and I execute, the number of triangles is increasing. So let's try a new approach for testing the impact of a solidification. First, I am a bit tired to connect and disconnect these nodes. I am going to add a new boolean, instance editable. Yes, getting used to it. I call it solidify. I am using it to trigger to branch to the solidify node or not. The default value will be I need to compile. The default value will be not to branch, false. This new boolean allows me to toggle solidification or not. A second thing I would like to do to show you, after the print, I am going to apply a mesh plane cut on the dynamic mesh. I think the default values are fine for now. Let me show you. But I want to see inside. So I need a make options node to uncheck the fill holes option. As a result, I can see all the geometries inside. And when I solidify, all the internal cones are gone. So, on the functional test level, when I solidify, I can see that I don't have other cones inside. Now, the thing I would like to try to achieve is to verify that I don't have a geometry inside my island by using a trace. After applying a mesh cut, I am going to throw a multi-line trace, hoping it will give me multiple hits. The trace will be on X from -10,000 to 10,000. On the visibility channel, because why not? It's a default one. Let's make it always visible with a draw debug type of persistent. Save and compile. We can see the trace is going through all the island. How many hits should I expect on such an island? 1 for the whole geometry? 2 for the cones? Or 3? or 4 hit points. Let's lower the trace a little bit to be sure it hits the surface, not an edge. Z to minus 0.5. If there is a hit, the color should change to green. No hit. Is ignore self not doing what I think it should? Is there a hit here? It seems there is some green with a red. Let's try and print how many hits there are in red for 20 seconds. Only one hit. It hits here, and that's all. What if I use trace complex? Still only one hit. Trace channel to camera? And if I ignore myself, 0 makes sense to me now. Let's say that I do not know how multi-line trace works, or that my line is considered as a single geometry. Told you, I am learning. Because the multi-line does not work, I will try with a line trace by channel. Start position minus 10,000 on X, minus 0.5 on Z. End position 10,000 on X, minus 0.5 on Z. Break the hit results, and let's make a string to print the location of the hit. Let's see. I forgot to make the line trace persistent. And I forgot to increase the duration of the print. 0, 0, 0. Let's print when there is a hit. Oh, and I have the ignore self ticked. So let's try with a branch first, but I expected that it should not hit because of the ignore self. Yes, only the triangle count, no location. Now if I untick ignore self and run, I should get a hit. Yes, I have a hit location coordinate and a change in color of the trace. Now the idea will be to have a sequence of traces and somewhat count the number of hits. I add a sequence. First step, I do this line trace by channel. Then second step, do the same line trace, but where the starting point is the collision point of the previous hit. For that, I will promote the endpoint as a local variable, which I name endpoint. Point, I said. Both traces will target the same endpoint, but the start is the location of the previous hit. And quickly, let me display the location of the second hit. The hit trace will be a blue line this time. Okay, not perfect, but let's try this to see the results. No hit. Let's offset the start position a little bit, adding 1 on X to get closer to 10,000. Let's print the two locations. I got only the first one. Did I forget the ignore self again? Uncheck the ignore self. Let's change the endpoint a little bit so the two traces are a little bit offset and not on top of each other. Nope. And again, I forgot to set the debug type to persistent. Yes. Yeah, I can see it now. Definitely not an offset issue. I have 2 hits now. What happens if I solidify? When I run, I still have 2 hits. I expected 1. Okay, because of this dip on the surface of the island, I got extra hits. Well, it's working, but is it too high? What if I lower the trace, using minus 100 instead of minus 0.5 to get below the dip? Okay, only 1 hit then. And if I remove the solidify and I run, 2 hits. So, with no solidification, I hit twice. With solidification, only once. So maybe what I should test is that the outcome of the solidification is the removal of internal cones. But the island has some relief, so we may have dips. So I can test it on a smaller island. Or maybe I won't have dips down to the bottom of the geometry. I keep this in mind for the future. Next step will be to move this as a test. I copy this from the blueprint to the island is not getting too heavy functional test. Can it become the new way for testing that the island is not getting weight? Instead of getting the mesh count, I will check the geometry. So I don't need to prepare this test anymore. I still need to create a new island, but instead of getting the mesh count, I will check the hits. Moving this also away for now. Let's say that the test fails if I have a second hit with the result message, too many hits. But if I don't have a second hit, then the test is successful. I created a local variable for the endpoint, but it seems that there is no local variable in the functional test. Let's make it a variable then. Let's test this. I tried to set a preset to quickly access the test I am interested in, but it is not working the way I expected. Running the test fails with too many hits. Ah, I see, it is not solidified. Now it is solidified. I run the test and success. The reason I created this test about the island not getting too heavy is because I was missing the reset. So if I bypass this reset now, I should have a failing test. But no, it is still a success. I tried then to see how I could configure an island that will make this test fail because I don't have the reset, but I failed myself. This was a very difficult episode. It's getting too long. I will continue in the next one. I was able to test the solidification, but I lost the test, which forced me to have a reset. I have to test now. Let me show you. So I have this island is getting solidified test that we created using the line trace channel, and I reverted back the island is not getting too heavy to test. In my basic test island, which I use for testing, I added the two functional tests. Let's see and run them, all the tests. Okay, so I have some tests failing. I have the ball is not falling for the floor, which is failing now. And the reason is it's because I have a big hole. So I need to remove this mesh plane cut. Let's remove it totally. And for your information, I also changed the get trillion count to get mesh info string, which gives me more information after the island is generated. And if I run the test again now, I have this island is not too heavy, failing because of this different number of triangles. I will fix that in the next episode. So now I want to commit. So this is the get status. So I have modified only two files, the basic test island map, so the plugin itself, and I added this new test. Let's add everything. Okay. I shouldn't commit with a failing test, but I'm committing because I want to add the tag that is the state after the end of this episode. My mistake. Okay, I have this, I have the post commit hook. So it was push automatically added dash for mesh solidification. But now I'm going to tag. Okay, but I guess that if I refresh now, I only have my three tags, which is this defect I have for the next time also. If I push, sorry, it's a git push dash dash tags, and I did a tag. You may think that my tests are very fragile, and indeed, and the reason is I'm writing the test after the code. I have code which drives the development of a test and not the test which drives the development of the code. So this is not TDD what I'm doing now, just to be clear on that. And when you do TDD, you don't have this kind of problem I'm facing now. Anyway, those small tests are very convenient to try out new features very quickly and to get fast feedback if the node I'm using, like the multi-line trace. I had working tests. I was able to change a node and try. It was failing with a new node, so I was able to quickly come back to the original node. That's very convenient. But today I'm left with more tests to fix. This is code-driven testing, which is not ideal. Thanks to all the people who subscribe to my channel and who put some likes. They help me to find the motivations to continue this video series. Thank you very much. I hope that you find inspiration on how to test or not how to test your own game. Thank you for watching. I am Philippe. I want to see you in the next episode.